Hi, welcome back. Welcome to section 3, creating your first service. In the last section we created your first components, we learned how to display data with directives, and we also learned about data binding and how we can pass data between components. In this section we're going to learn all about services. We're going to create your first service and find out about what services are and how they work, and then we're going to move your data across into your service and learn about how your components can consume this data. We're then going to learn about observables and understand how we can mock them so that we can work with them in preparation for the HTTP module later on in this course. We're then going to create add, update and delete methods for your service so that we can work with your service as we would in the real world. And then we're going to learn about how we can inject services into other services, and we'll finish off with a quiz. So welcome to 3.1, let's learn about how services work and then create our first service. In this video, we're going to understand why we need services, we're going to learn about how services work, and then we're going to finish up by creating your first service using the Angular shortcut. So why do we need services? If you remember back to our assignments component, we had an array of assignments and we were handling our data there. But actually, we shouldn't be handling our data in components. Components should just focus on presenting the data, so we actually need to move the data across to the service, and this service will provide the data throughout your application. So essentially our service will provide 4 methods: a get method, a post method, an update method, and a delete method. And in this section we're going to mock those, but we'll need to use those later on in the HTTP section, when our application becomes much more real world. So how do we create a service? Just like generating a component, Angular provides a shortcut for creating a service, and they are ng, g for generate, s for service, and then the name of the service. And as we've seen with the components, there's also a special command to omit the test files. So let's jump right in and create our first service. If you open up your terminal or command line, so you can create your service within the main app folder, or you can add it to a shared folder, which I've done previously. So I'm going to move it to my shared folder, so I'll navigate there. And then I'm going to type in the command s for service. Now I don't want to create a test file, and we're going to call this assignments. Hit enter, and that will then create our service. If we head back to our IDE, we'll be able to see that there. Okay, so in our shared folder, we should now see our service. And there's our assignments.service.ts. You see the difference there is it's created a .service rather than a .component. So there's your service setup. You can see it's got the decorator injectable, and we'll learn about what that means in the next video. And we also need to register our service in our app.module.ts file. And although we added our components to our declarations, with services they're actually a provider, so we need to add it to the providers array. We need to import that. Again, that will be imported from our shared assignments.service folder. So we've learned about what a service is, and we've also learned how to create those in our application.